It really is your team, how you treat your team, because they're showing up for you every day. My hygienist that's been here the longest, she's like, whatever your dream is, whatever, we're here for it. And I'm very thankful for that. Managing people is the worst, I would say. That hasn't changed. I didn't realize that when I opened. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll find this one person. It's going to be fine. No.
Joining me today is someone who's building a practice rooted in community, energy, and intention. Dr. Kelsi Lewis, owner of Glow Dental Co. in Texas. How you doing, Kelsi?
Yeah. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So, from deciding to become a dentist at just 6 years old to building her own practice while balancing a life as a mom and business owner, she's created something that's deeply personal to her and her patients. So today we're diving into how she's building Glow Dental Co., how she's approaching growth, and what she's doing differently to stand out in a competitive market. Kelsi, if you don't mind me asking, what's been taking up most of your mental space lately?
Oh, definitely this office. I'm in the middle of switching marketing companies. And so it's been a lot of trying to just figure out which one is the right one, kind of doing all that research because I don't have an office manager. It's me. So I'm like having to do that in the dentistry. I'm also in the middle of finding 2 new team members. I recently just found the new front desk hygiene coordinator, basically. And now I'm looking for another assistant at the same time because my current one she was applying to hygiene school. She didn't get in, but she's going to have to go back to school and do all that. So she just needs to focus on that. So trying to switch marketing companies without a manager and hiring and still doing dentistry can be tiring, but I mean, nobody else is going to do it. So
yeah, interesting. So if you don't mind me asking, out of those, let's categorize them like in 3 things. Which one is like priority to you right now?
I mean, definitely adding the team members because that's kind of not a ticking time bomb, but like the clock is ticking for sure. And I would say just trying to find the right fit because I mean, I have a great team. Most of them have been with me at least. I mean, my office we opened in July of 21. So my main hygienist, it'll be her 4-year anniversary this year, which is crazy. My main assistant followed me from the office that I was working at while I was building this. My financial person up front has been with me for 3 years. So just trying to find, because we all click. So just trying to find the same energy and the same go-getting attitude, just because it's like everybody knows what they're expected to do. I don't like to micromanage. So it's kind of like everybody has their expectations. So trying to make sure that everybody's on board that I bring on now, then it's less of a headache for everybody else.
Okay, interesting. So then from that office that you worked in, what were some things where you were like, I want to take this and run this system in my office? And then what were some things where you're like, I hate the way this is running. I never want to do it like that.
Yeah, because I worked at a corporate office. That didn't last very long. And then I worked at like 2 or 3 other offices before I decided to do my own. And there was a lot of systems that I realize now that I'm doing that would have probably benefited them. And they're probably doing it now because it just wasn't a thing back then. But the big takeaway for me is how you treat your team. Like you can't do it without them, right? And so especially like the people up front, like those are the first people that your patients see when they walk in the door. And especially in the last couple of positions, it's just kind of like eye-opening as far as like how you treat them, because that just relays everywhere in the office. If the patients sense that there's like hostility going on, they could smell that from a mile away. So I would just say how you're treating your team. Another big thing I picked up on was giving them the option if they wanted a lunch hour or not. And I know every state is different on like the rules for that. I mean, they would rather get off an hour earlier than have a lunch break. So we kind of just work through in between, eat really quick and then get back. So like if my hygienist is running behind, the assistants will tear down, set up, seat our next patient while she eats. So it's kind of like just making sure it's still flowing and that the patients aren't waiting is a big one that I took away. Cause like every lunch break that I was at in my other offices, they were like, I don't even want to sit here for an hour to eat. I'd rather just like, cause obviously after you eat, I don't want to go back to work either. Like I'm tired and I don't want to do anything productive.
Those are good though. Those are really, really interesting. You mentioned something about your team right now has all the same energy.
Right.
Can you give me a description of what that looks like?
I mean, we all kind of look out for each other. It's crazy because it's my financial coordinator up front. She knows what I will and I won't put up with. And it kind of trickles down, right? So it kind of goes back to like my hygienist. She knows exactly how I treatment plan now. it's amazing that I come in there. She's already got teeth written down, like what she's seen. She's already talked to the patient about it. So we're on the same page there. So it makes my job a lot easier. Obviously, they're not diagnosing, but I am just saying, yeah, that I'll agree or disagree. So I'll add it on the treatment plan, take it off. But I think a lot of it is translating that to when we do go up front to the treatment financial coordinator and going over the treatment, she's in earshot of the 2 hygiene rooms. So she can kind of listen to the conversation, already kind of prepare like when she's going over it to like use kind of similar verbiage, because obviously the more the patients hear it, like they hear it from her, they hear it from me, they hear it back at the front again. I feel like it's a little bit, not like you're trying to convince them to do it, but for them to understand that we're all on the same page here. And it just kind of helps everything flow a lot easier.
Yeah. Did you ever tell her to like, hey, listen into this, or it just started happening and then
No,
like,
she just started doing it. And sometimes if I have time after an exam, I'll go up and kind of fill her in just in case she was busy and she didn't hear. Because sometimes it's not always straightforward, right? I'll start walking towards her and she'll just be like this, like she heard, and then I just won't even have to do it. So I'm like, okay, we're good.
Nice. Okay, that's good. So then how do you know, Kelsi, because you mentioned you don't have to micromanage.
Right.
Where's the point that you know where you're like, I didn't just like hire you and said go, but at the same time, I'm not hiring you, babying you too long?
See, that one's tough because the ones that have been here like the longest, I know for a fact, like they are doing whatever they need to be doing. Obviously, there's tasks. Like I have checklists, obviously, for the front. I'm not saying like sign here or put your initial here and put it on my desk at the end of every day. But it's just, especially since I don't have an office manager. And the main reason I opened this office was because I am such a control freak. It has been very hard to delegate things. That's a huge thing about like having a startup is like the people here have to understand like my vision and my goal and how I want my patients to be treated. And if all of that aligns, and I feel like everybody falls into place as far as them knowing what they're supposed to be doing. Because like if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, if everybody does what they're supposed to be doing, which sounds really easy to do, then everything turns out just fine. So where I was getting with one of the recent positions that I've had to replace, it was every day. It was like I was having to go up there and be like, hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that? And I'm like, you don't want me doing that. And I don't want to be doing that. That's annoying. I'm annoyed that I have to do this. And so it's kind of like setting that expectation. And I think now that I've been a practice owner for, it'll be 5 years in July, I've known to be very direct in my interviews as well. Because it's like, I'm just setting that tone of like, this is what I'm expecting. And people will be like, oh yeah, I don't like to be micromanaged or whatever. But then you get here and then I'm having to do it. It's like, you didn't listen. So a lot of it's just like being very open with them. And that's just my personality anyways. I'm very open, outgoing, blunt, not in a mean way, but like my expectations are set. And so if they don't get met, then it's kind of like not a surprise when we're having multiple conversations and it's like, we've talked about this. And I am very graceful and I give chances that sometimes it's like, okay, you're not getting it. It's not clicking.
Interesting. Yeah. When does it not click? Like, when is it for you? You're like, this is too much. Like,
well, I mean, we do have like that initial like 90-day trial period. I kind of just keep notes in my own computer because I forget, right? There's a lot of things going on. I'll break it up into like mini 30-day things, and not to them, but like just kind of keeping notes to myself. And I'll maybe meet with them halfway and be like, hey, these are some of the things I've noticed, just to get halfway through. And then the other half, it's like, fix it, basically. And for the most part, they do, and it's fine. There's only been like 1 or 2 that it's just been like, hey, this just isn't going to work. And so that's why I'm struggling, because the next people I want to bring on, I want them to be here for a long time. And so it's one of those things where I got to take my time and I don't really have the time to take. So it's like just making sure I'm being very thorough and like just sharing my goals with them and being honest.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's really interesting, though. I like that a lot. Before we dive into some of the main set questions here, you also mentioned marketing company. Could I ask what's the reason why and who and stuff like that? Or
yeah, I mean, I don't think they'd have an issue with a plug in here. So full transparency, I stopped running ads about 7 months ago. I want to say mid-September, which is probably the worst time. September is like the slowest month in dentistry, right? Which ended up being our best month. I don't know how. And I just stopped because my new patient numbers were just kind of stagnant and I was spending all this money on ads. And I'm like, I'm trying to see if my ROI makes sense, right?
Mhm.
Because like all the new patients, we always ask, like, how'd you hear about us? And at the time, it was found out through my insurance, or it was like an internal referral, or they drove by, or now we have the donut shop right next door to my office. So now we're people are like, oh,
Nice.
I just getting donuts and realized I haven't been to this. I'm like, I'm not mad about it. Get more donuts, please.
Get more donuts. I
Please
know.
go over there more. And so I just stopped to see. And then after that, my new patient numbers went up a little bit without the ads. So I was like,
Mhm.
well, that's kind of silly. And then I'm part of a bunch of dental Facebook groups. And I kept seeing SMC National on there, like Gary Bird. I see a lot. He's very involved. And so I just kind of looked into it a little bit more. And then I'm also part of like the 3D dentists mastermind like
Mhm.
program. So they have like a lot of networking things and stuff in there. And there was actually a dentist that worked with SMC National within the 3D dentist program. And I spoke with him. And then I spoke with another guy that uses them that I went to dental school with. He actually graduated a year after I did, and they had like nothing but great things to say. So I'm going to give it a shot. They'll actually start in about a month. They're doing like all the behind the scenes stuff at the moment. And then probably like early May, they'll start running ads just to kind of see. I'm trying to closely double my new patient numbers right now. I have one full-time hygienist and I have one part-time. I'm trying to get her full-time by summer or like early fall.
Okay, interesting. So then, how many new patients are you currently getting right now?
Right now, about 30.
Okay, so 60.
Yeah, I would like to get to 60. I'm at 30 right now without any ads or anything going on. So
It's
I'm
pretty
curious
good,
to see
Kelsi.
what I know. But I mean, I would say 30, but there are probably like 30% of them are super healthy. And I'm like, I need you to have some more cavities.
Go get more donuts. Got you.
I need some more larger broken amalgams here. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Interesting. So then you mentioned though you're switching. Could I ask who your previous person was? People were.
Yeah. So, and I wouldn't even call them marketing. So there's two.
Mhm.
There's one that strictly like does my website and make sure that it's up to Google's standards of whatever, and to make sure that I pop up on searches and AI and all that stuff. And they're called EKWA, Equa.
Mhm.
Yeah. They do like all the website stuff. It's fairly inexpensive for them to do that. And then Winner, WYNNER, Winner Marketing, it basically just kind of managed my Google My Business account to where I'm showing up more organically in the natural search, like dentists near me. And so when I started with them, I want to say I started with them right around the time I stopped running ads, just because I wanted to make sure that there was still something going on. And it was significantly cheaper than ads, but they just kind of helped me show up a little bit more organically. Because you know how you type in whatever and there's like sponsored ads up top. And
Mhm.
then so there's this less sponsored and then more of like when you go to the Google map, like I'm in the first page there instead of on the very top sponsored ads. So
Mm.
they did that, and that just required a lot of photos around the office. And that was tiring. They wanted like 100 pictures. And I'm like, oh my God. But evidently, I didn't know that that's a huge thing for Google. Like if you're actively posting photos on your Google My Business, it can help increase your visibility on there. And I didn't know that.
Interesting. So then, budget wise, for that, if you're like, okay, guys, if you're thinking to go with a full on marketing agency or ones like the ones that you had previously,
Yeah.
what are we looking at range?
So with the Winner and the Equa combined, the Equa, like the web was like $1,250 a month, so $1,250, and then the Winner was $2,500 a month, so right around $4,000 for both of those. And then the SMC one, they have different packages, so they have like a management fee, like their monthly fee, and then depending on your growth, they have different packages for how many patients you want, right? And they'll guarantee however many extra new patients a month. And it ranges from like 1,500 to 15,000, or you can spend as much as you want.
Yeah.
And so it really just depends on what you're looking for, or how aggressive you're trying to be in the campaign. I kind of went with like the lower one for now, just to kind of test it out and see. But everybody that I've talked to that's used them has seen almost like an instant ROI within like the first 4 to 6 weeks of using them. So it may go up after that, just depends.
Mm-hmm.
Or my
Okay.
spend may go up. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. So then let's rewind a little bit. You decided to open during COVID. That's when you made the decision. You're like, yeah. Or
No.
was this a decision like, I've always wanted to be a practice owner?
No, for the longest time, I was like, there's no way I would do this. Just because it was like, well, now I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, I had it so good. Like, what was I thinking now?
Yeah.
And then, like, it goes back to my control freak comment. Like, I like things a certain way, and I'm so picky that just working with somebody else wouldn't work. Like, we
Was it
sat
that much of a
down.
contrast though? Like where you're like, I had it really good, but I really want to control.
It was right when we shut down, we weren't allowed to work. And like, and she probably doesn't listen to this. The owner at the time that I was working for, we kind of butted heads a lot about certain things. And like,
Mhm.
it would just came to a point where I just felt like I was getting attacked for like every little thing. And I was just like, what is happening? This didn't happen. And so it came to a point where I was like complaining about work every day. And then he was
Mhm.
like, why don't you just do it yourself? And that way, y'all, if you complain, it's all your fault. It's like, well, that's a good point. A startup wasn't even on my mind, but like I interviewed a bunch of offices. I kind of went to offices that they were wanting to sell
Mhm.
soon to see if an acquisition would make it be easier. And I think I went to like 5 or 6, and I just didn't like how any of them were set up. They were small, or they were too big, or the location didn't make sense for me. And one of the ones I looked at, it was like the best one that I liked. And then it was like, well, you're going to have to do your own marketing. I was like, aren't you retiring soon? This doesn't make sense. So, yeah. And then it was just like, well, I think I just need to do my own thing, which is super scary. And I feel like I underestimated the whole process. I'm being
Yeah.
completely honest. It's pretty involved, obviously, from scratch. And I underestimated the whole process. I don't regret it at all, but I did underestimate it.
Interesting. If you can be like pretty specific in that, what did you feel like you underestimated that when you were doing the research, you're like, hey, nobody told me about that?
I think it's just all the small parts. So it was like, okay, I want to open my own practice. Where do I even start? Like, I started with like a brokerage. Obviously, you got to find a spot. And there's like all these little things like, okay, building it out from scratch, I have to go in and approve every outlet. Obviously, that makes sense. But then the insurance credentialing and just all these little things, which I had help. And I did use a startup coaching
Hmm.
company to help me with all these little things. And it was just a lot of like moving parts. And now looking back at it, it's obviously worth it. And I don't regret it. I wouldn't change a thing. But just coming from like an associate's point of view where I just show up to work and leave, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Can't do that now. It's just very different. You can't just be a dentist. I mean, you're a business owner too, and they don't teach us that in school. I mean, we had
Mm.
one class and it was build your own dream dental practice. And it was like, this isn't doing me any good.
Yeah. Who was your coaching company?
Ideal practices, yes. I use
Gotcha.
them as like a consulting company to kind of get this thing going.
But even then, you were still like, holy crap, there's still so much I got to deal with and do. Or were you hoping, like, guys, you do it and then just kind of
Yeah.
show me the receipts of everything?
No, they have everything down to a T. It was pretty hands on. Like we had 1 or 2 meetings a week. And obviously, at this time, I think I was back at work. So trying to balance that while still actually working was challenging. And then
Hmm.
obviously, I couldn't really share with the office I was working at that I was doing that until it was like almost time, like probably within like 3 or 4 months of opening, just because I had to start advertising, right? But they were pretty hands on. It was very involved, but it was like every little detail, which obviously has to be not perfect, but close to it. There were some things that they were like, we're going to handle this for you. Like all the credentialing stuff, I had no idea. And I just gave them all of my information and they basically did that for me. So that was super helpful. I imagine doing that by myself would have been a disaster.
Yeah.
I would say if you're not going to do like a consultant or something, definitely get somebody to help you with credentialing because it takes like 3 months to do that. And you're like, you open and then you can just like, you're not going to have anybody in your chairs.
Yeah. No, that's good. Kelsey, would you say, if someone's asking you, would you say, if you want to be able to manage everything, then that is a good reason to open up your own practice? Or would you say, like, hey, hold off a little bit? There's other things that may make you not want to open it. Or what are your thoughts?
It's hard because, especially as a mom too, like it's hard to find that balance, especially now. My daughter's in kindergarten, so there's more things to attend. It's like in the middle of a Wednesday, we have volunteer to read a book. I'm like, okay, I can do it. I have to block my schedule out, which is great because I have the capabilities to do that. I'd be like, hey guys, I'm not going to be here for the next hour. I'll be back. But I would say, I mean, a lot of it is control and how you like things done because in like supplies that you like to use, filling material, if you have an associate that's like asking for all these things, like, hey, I want to use this and this, like, okay, that's fine. You can buy that yourself if that's what you want to use, you know? And I don't have an associate, it's just me. But a lot of it is a control thing. And I don't even know if control is the right word. It's just certain processes or how you see your future. It really just depends on that. Like for me, I'm trying to build this thing up to where I can bring on an associate and eventually take a step back and kind of not work as much so that I can do more things and be there for my daughter's school events and like try not to miss things like that. And so it really just kind of goes well down to like, what do you really want at the end of this? Because like the goal, obviously, if you're going to have a practice is to build it up and then eventually sell it when you're ready to retire is the goal. And now we have all the DSOs around that are taunting me in my emails. Hey, I'm going to sell. No, I'm not.
Really? They're emailing you like a lot?
I have a few that have reached out and I'm just like, not. And then it's not even them personally. It's like their broker from wherever. And I'm just like, no, I built this thing because I didn't want it to feel like a DSO. Like I want my patients to feel very welcome here and it's very laid back. I've worked in offices that are chaos. Like it's 45-minute new patient appointments. And I'm like, that's insane. And it's like one after another. And like some people like that and some people don't. And then where I'm at, the area that my office is at, it's like, no, if you were to do that, it would not be okay.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's control either. I would say more like you just have high standards that allow a different type of freedom. Or eventually will allow a different type of freedom, right? And people who have like good standards were like, man, you're like really micromanaging or you'd like to control. And it's like, nah, I just have specific standards.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. The specific standards. And then for me, in the last couple of years, I'm trying to figure out which direction I want to go in dentistry. I thought I wanted to do like all on X and just focus on that surgically. And then I'm like, oh, that's stressful. I've done a couple of arches, right? Yeah. But I'm like, the whole time, I'm like, I don't enjoy it. I mean, I enjoy it if it's just a single arch. It's simple, it's faster. But for me, I think I've kind of finally focused on wanting to do more aesthetics, cosmetics, full mouth rehabs sort of thing. And I feel like I can't really have control over that unless I have my own practice. Because like you've got to market that way as well, in addition to everything else. And so if you were an associate and you wanted to kind of do that, it'd be kind of hard to do that with somebody else's patients. I mean, if you're fine with just doing general dentistry day in and day out, doesn't bother you, you don't want to be stressed out, just keep doing what you're doing. But if you like are trying to have a more focused mindset, unless your owner is just all for it, because I mean, the lab bills for those are insane. Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of just focusing on like, what does your life look like in 15 years and kind of make actions towards that is really it. And I just didn't see myself working for somebody else much longer.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting you mentioned all on fours too. So like for you, 2021 till today, what did you try early on that completely failed and why?
That's tough. I would say I didn't recently start offering like financing until probably the last 2 years was when we really started. I mean, we used Sunbit and Cherry. But before that, we weren't really doing that. When we first opened, it was kind of like, here's how much it is. Let me know if you can pay for it. And obviously, the market's different now than it was 5 years ago. But financing is super important. Like if I'm going to pay for something and there's an option to do 12 months without interest, absolutely sign me up. Anybody would want that, right? It's basically free at that point. I mean, we signed up for Care Credit and all that stuff at the beginning. We just didn't offer it to everybody. And so we kind of started offering it. I don't even remember what course I was at, that it was saying like, it doesn't matter how much it is. If it's $200, offer it to them because they may sign up for it. And like those small little tokens can make your collections go up like crazy. So she just started offering it to everybody. And then I noticed an increase in our collections and stuff. I mean, we hit 1 million last year. That was year 4, which is great. And so some people get offended. Like when she goes over it, they're like, I don't need that. I'm like, we offer it to everybody. It's not like we're judging you and saying that we think you need this. Like we legit offer it to everyone. Yeah. I wish I would have started offering it sooner.
Yeah. That's a good lesson. You're in Austin?
Yes.
And there's people, well, yeah, it's grown since COVID, right? I would say, or like the pandemic. Like,
yes.
Okay, so your demographic out there, would you say a lot of them are ones where they're like, I don't need that? Or is it more so, what does your demographic look like out there?
Where my office is, the road that I was on, there's one DSO, like half a mile. We get a lot of patients from there, which is great. When we opened, there's only one restaurant on this road, and now it's like blown up. And this whole area is just insane. But like north of my office, it's multi-million-dollar homes, older, I would say late 40s to maybe late 50s that live there,
Yeah.
families. And then south, like a couple of miles south, it's like trailer parks. So it's kind of like, what? And then we're southwest of downtown. So basically, like all of that east of us is average, like probably young adults, like 30s. I would say 25 to 35, probably like 50-50 married, single. So it's quite an eclectic variety.
Yeah. And then you have, last year you did $1 million in collections.
Mm-hmm.
How many ops do you have?
I have 4 built out. I have 7 rooms total.
4 built out, team of 6, collected
I'm
$1
hoping
million.
to add another chair by summer.
By summer. You're doing pretty great, Kelsi. Like, it's pretty awesome.
Thanks.
Where you're at. Do you feel like you're doing really great?
I do. This past January, I was like, what is happening? I mean, obviously it's January recovering from the holidays. It's also tough because we closed for basically 2 weeks. And so like that payroll is fun. But yeah, I mean, I feel it now because I mean, obviously as a startup, you don't pay yourself for a very long time. And then going through a divorce during that was tough. And so I would say I don't know what year it was. Year 2 is when I kind of started giving myself a little bit. I mean, even last year, because I'm also still trying to grow the office savings at the same time, right? Because I want you to have however X amount of money there just in case. But I would say I'm feeling good now. This past March was our best month ever since opening, which is great. And April will probably top that, mainly because I have a huge case at the end that'll probably send us way over. It's starting out a little slow this month, but obviously you can only take it one day at a time. You never know what a day is going to bring, who's going to walk through the door, who's going to bust their face on a scooter downtown.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I had one of my good friends, she called and like FaceTimed me and just like all 4 teeth were just like chipped right in half just 'cause she fell on a scooter on one of those lime stupid scooters. So it's just like, you just never know. And I had some guy just walk in and he had all his busted teeth and he's like, I just went for a run and I fell and like now he's a patient. So it's like, you just never know what's going to happen. And so the one that's been here longest, my financial coordinator, insurance person, whatever you want to call her, she gets so emotional about the schedule sometimes. She's like, I don't know what's going on, da, da, da. And like, we'll try to do role playing and like practicing going over treatment plans and all that stuff. And she just takes it so personal. And I'm just like, you just have to stay positive. Like, if I'm not stressed out, you don't need to be stressed out, but I appreciate you being stressed out.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just trying to stay positive because look, if I'm in a bad mood, obviously everybody else is going to feel that. So yeah.
I like that a lot. You got to stay positive. Yeah. But it's interesting that she takes it on.
She does. Like last Thursday, my afternoon fell apart. And then we had a recall patient. He needed a crown and something else. And he was cash pay. So it ended up being like a $3,000 appointment. And she was like, oh my God. I was like, see, you can't just be discouraged all day. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
He was like, can you do it right now? Can you do it today? And she's like, yes, we can. Here we go.
That's awesome. So then in your patient journey then, what moment in the patient journey matters most to you for conversion? What are you doing differently there?
Our new patient appointments are 2 hours just to kind of give the hygienist time to like get to know them. And we do x-rays and we do photos, kind of like the ortho photos. Because I know like new patients, not everybody likes coming here, right? You hear, I hate the dentist how many times a day. And so just to kind of make them feel more comfortable and not rush. We have TVs above the chairs, we have headphones, blankets to kind of let them feel a little bit more at home. I have separated rooms. I have like barn doors that close to kind of like keep everything private because COVID ruined that for everybody, or open concept. Mm-hmm. So I had that advantage to make separate actual rooms to where the patients feel like their privacy is being taken care of, or because you just have people that complain about that stuff. Making sure we call them by name. We offer them water. I give out these like cool water bottles now with our logo on it to each new patient. So, and obviously different colors.
Where do you order
And
those from?
starts with an A.
Is it Alibaba?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And they were super cheap. I mean, you had to buy a minimum of whatever, but it was like ended up being like less than $10 per water bottle.
Oh, nice. So each patient gets that.
Yes. And then I try to read their dental form before I go in there, because it's like if they're concerned about their smile or if they are worried about yellow teeth or crooked teeth, we kind of already know what direction the exam is going to go in. It's like, oh, tell me about your crooked smile. And then that we kind of go into, okay, well, we have options to fix that. Like whitening, do you want a more permanent fix? Do you want something that you have to maintain over time? Because those are two different conversations, right? Either veneers or your in-office whitening, just to kind of gauge what they're looking for. And if they do need a lot of treatment, and my hygienists know this, if it's over $9,000 or $10,000, I don't go over all of that day in the new patient appointment. I need time to kind of evaluate if they need like multiple implants and like all this stuff. I need time to evaluate their records to make sure this is what they need. They'll preface like, she may want you to come back another day to kind of go over all of our options here so that she can kind of take her time with this treatment plan. Because if it's a lot of work, I don't want to rush through it. And then if I'm really busy over here and then my front desk, she's busy, I don't want to present a $25,000 treatment plan under pressure. And then the patient's going to feel that. So it kind of gauges too whether they're serious about getting it done or not. Because they're like, oh yeah, I understand there's a lot going on. I definitely don't mind setting. We try to get them to come back within the week just to kind of keep it fresh. And they appreciate it too. Because they're like, I don't want to rush through this treatment plan. This is a lot. If you're going to invest in your smile with all this, like you deserve my undivided attention and you deserve hers. Or we can set off time to make sure that I'm explaining it to you without being pressured for the hygienist needing to see her next patient. So I think that's what we like to do a little differently as well.
When you think about ownership, Kelsi, what feels fundamentally different compared to earlier seasons today?
It really is your team, for sure. Like I said earlier, it all is how you treat your team, because they're showing up for you every day. And my hygienist that's been here the longest, I'm very thankful for her. She is like, whatever your dream is, whatever, we're here for it. And I'm very thankful for that. Managing people is the worst, I would say. That hasn't changed. I didn't realize that when I opened. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll find this one person. It's going to be fine. No. And even when I opened, like I had worked front desk in college, so I kind of knew the insurance breakdown, verification, all that stuff. Now, some of the codes on there, when I was in college, I was like, what the hell is what's the SRP? Like, and because I was up front, so I didn't really know all of that.
Yeah.
And so I eventually learned, right? And then I'm like, what is a core buildup? I was like, what is this? And so I was like having to ask all these questions. And like the dentist that I worked for is like, just don't worry about that. I just need the info. And I'm like, but I kind of need to know what the stuff is, right? So I think doing that in college was very beneficial just because like all the codes and stuff and me doing this office from scratch, it's helped me because I didn't even know how to do sterilization before I opened this office. Like I didn't have to do that, right? I was an associate. I just walked in the room and I was ready. So when I started, I only had one assistant and one front desk. And so I would be helping as well with all of it. If she was on the phone, I'd help answer the phones. I hate the phone ringing. I will still answer the phone if it's ringing and I see that she's on the phone. I feel like when you're doing a startup, you have to be able to, depending on how you start it, right? Because people start their startups with a hygienist because they just don't want to do hygiene. I did not want to pay a hygienist when I started because I knew that's all that would be doing and just kind of trying to build that relationship with my patients from the get-go. And so you have to be able to be prepared to take out the trash or clean the toilets. Unless you start with all of these things, right? Which I will even now, I'll clean the toilets. Nothing's below me, right? This is my office. And like, I feel like my team appreciates that now for sure, just because I've recognized how important it is for the people that you bring on. And it goes back to me being more straightforward and direct in my interviews as to what exactly I'm expecting. Because I have been managing for 5 years now, and COVID has done some weird things to people. I feel like there's a lot of entitlement in a lot of people. As if you're not direct with them and you're not straightforward, they're going to walk all over you. That happened to me 2 years in. I was overwhelmed with the growth and stuff that I didn't really want to know what was going on. Like if people were taking advantage of me or whatever, I didn't even want to deal with it. I was just so stressed out with the office. I'm like, she's showing up to work. Great. But then I was like, I didn't know she was taking a nap. in one of the
Mm.
ops. I had no idea. And my assistant, I was like, what are you doing? Why didn't you tell me? She's like, I didn't know if you told her that she could. I was like, have I ever told you it's okay to take a nap? No.
Yeah.
And that's like the level of friendship that I have with her. And so we'll kind of joke about it because she's like, I'm just going to go take a nap. I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, obviously not being friends with your employees, but being friendly with them and then knowing
Mm.
when to draw the line. Like, we know when to play around and we know when it's business. And I do feel like sometimes some of the employees that have been here in the past, they were older than me. And I just feel like they didn't appreciate me as much because I was younger. But it's just the main thing is just your team is so important. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So the team is
Yeah.
important. That's the one thing that mainly changed. But right now, what do you no longer overthink?
I don't even overthink the schedule because it can change. Like, I don't even look at next week. I don't want to stress about it. Obviously, I'll look at tomorrow before I leave today. So I'm not like completely blindsided. But I just don't even look at the weeks ahead because it's not worth it to me to start stressing like, oh my God, I have goals here and like, what are we going to do? And it ends up working out. And that's why I have the people up front to stress out about it for me. And they know, fill the schedule. I don't have to go up there and tell you to fill the schedule. Like, you know this. I mean, hygiene is easy to fill. I'm probably going to have my other hygienist come full time soon because we don't really have places to put people. I have new patient blocks in my schedule because you can book online. And so I'm like, do not put a recall there. Now they know you can fill that. I give them 48 hours. Like, if there's a new patient block open on Monday, and it's Thursday, you can start moving recalls around to fill it. But like, do not put a recall in the new patient blocks because obviously the new patients are like very important to us. So they make sure they stick to those. That's been super helpful. I don't think I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah. That they make sure to stick to those. Okay. Interesting, Kelsi. A lot. You've been going through a lot. So
Yeah.
you mentioned you had your child throughout this process?
I had her in 2019. I signed the lease for this place in 2020, November of 2020.
Wow.
And then, which the interest rate was great.
Yeah, that's true.
And then it took forever to get the certificate because everybody was working from home and you're talking about city workers, right? They're not in a hurry, especially working from home during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So we were supposed to open in like March of 21. We didn't open until July. So paying rent, fortunately, my landlord, and I don't own, which I regret now, but I would definitely own your building if you can. He was very lenient and very kind, and he kind of pushed the rent out because I was like, I'm not open yet. I don't have any money to give you, first of all. So I don't know where he expected me to get this from. But yeah, and then 2019, we opened right before she turned 2, and I got divorced a year later. And since then.
So since then, opening the practice, going from an associate to another associate throughout that process to getting a divorce, watching your child grow. Throughout this time, what have you learned about yourself?
That I don't really know how to stop, I guess. It's the thing. It's like I just keep going. I don't really have a choice, right? I'm at work, I have work hat on. I go home, I got mom hat on. I feel like I'm wearing all the hats and I have no issues with that. I signed up for this. So I'm very thankful because somebody's where they are right now is where you want to be. It's been eye-opening for me, not only to see that I can do this from scratch, because everybody was like, you're crazy. Because like I'm in Austin, it's very saturated. And I was just like, well, we'll just see. It's kind of like, well, let's just cross our fingers and see if this works out. I did have a business marketing major, so that was helpful. But I think I'm just very proud of myself, mainly because having to balance all of these things and making sure I'm taking care of everybody else here around me has been very eye-opening. So I would say that I'm pretty proud of myself, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. Eye-opening. Do you feel like you couldn't do that before or like you had to prove yourself or?
I would say a lot of it was proving myself. Let's just see if I can do this. And I've always been super hard on myself, and that's just the nature of my personality. But honestly, I didn't know if I could or not, right? And so it was one of those things where it was kind of like, well, if this person can do it, I definitely can. And then obviously doing this, I've been able to meet so many cool people, like networking and super helpful little tips and programs and stuff to kind of help me run this practice better, to set up for success and to set myself up to work less, which is ultimately the goal.
Do you ever want to, Kelsi, like stop or pause? You're always on the go, always go, go, go. But have you ever just like thought like a pause would be nice?
Yes, a pause would be nice. Yeah, I mean, I've gone on vacations, right? That's been very helpful for me. I think the very first vacation, or people always be like, you're always doing stuff. I'm like, that's not a vacation. That's just like a trip. A vacation is like at least a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm gone Thursday through Sunday, for me, it doesn't count as a vacation just because that's just a weekend. I went to Greece in
Nice.
October of this past year. And that was my first time being away from the office for like a week while they were working. I had another dentist come in and kind of help. Basically just did exams and like emergencies and stuff. So that was nice to have. But I was very like checking in with them. Like, hey, are y'all is it on fire? Are y'all good? Because that was the first time I'd been gone that long. But I would say it's very important once you can get to a spot to like make sure you're planning those. Like a week before that vacation came, I was like, I am so glad I need a break. Like I need to not think about being here. I need to not think about teeth. I need to not think about anything. Setting that time up is very important because yes, I'm like, I need to step away and I need a break. It always seems to trickle down and whenever you're feeling this way and then a patient starts complaining and it's like, really? Like this is what you're complaining about?
Yeah.
Okay. So I always think about a break, but I don't always get to take a break.
Yeah. But it's good that you plan them though.
Oh yeah. If not, then you don't have anything to look forward to. So.
Yeah, that's true. And then you mentioned you've always been hard on yourself. Why?
Very. I don't know. I guess because I just expect a lot of myself. So I just kind of like take everything personally, which I've learned you cannot running your own practice. My office has had like 5-star reviews. And then I got my first 1-star and it's always about insurance. Always. Yeah. Always about their bill or our cancellation policy because we do stick to that. They get mad about it. I'm like, it's been in your reminders for the past week. So I take these things personally. I'm like, I got my first 1-star review and I'm like, I didn't even do anything wrong. You just didn't listen. Like it's not, it's just little things like that.
How'd you take it though? Were you like, we're shutting everything down or no?
Nope. I respond HIPAA compliantly, of course. Yeah. I'm also one to stick up for myself too. Like I'll stick up for my team. I just don't tolerate rude patients. And that's another thing I'm very glad that I have my own practice because I can dismiss whoever I want. And so there are patients that I'm like, I've had one that he was just so rude to my front desk and he had all this treatment that he needed. And I dismissed him. I was like, you are not going to stress out anybody here. Like I'm not having this at all. Like he came back and he just had this attitude with everybody. And then of course he was super nice to me. And I was like, this isn't how it works. You got to be nice to everybody here to even get back in this chair. Mm-hmm. So I got to stick up for them too, because they'll see that and then they appreciate it. If I see a name on the schedule, I don't want everybody to be like losing sleep that this person is coming in, you know?
Because that does happen.
I don't mind dismissing. And even the people that get mad about the late cancel or whatever, they'll pay it and then they don't come back. I'm like, good, because I don't want to waste that hour that my hygienist is sitting around for you.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. So last question is, if someone listening is one step behind where you were, what's the one move they should make this week?
I would just say if you are on the fence about doing a startup, you don't even have to physically write it down or maybe get notes on, are you an anxious person? Do you have anxiety? Do you get super stressed out super easily? Do you enjoy your free time? Like it's all these things. It's like you need to know what exactly it is that you want because you might think you want a startup and then you show up and you're like, my compressor breaks. I have to pay for that. I need to shut down the whole day. It's kind of like you just really have to dig into like what you value in your life and what you're looking for. Like if you're totally fine making whatever you're making as an associate and you don't have any issues with that and you're fine, I would just say stay where you are. But if you want to like grow and like see where your fullest potential could be and create your own positive work environment and be in charge of who you're around on a daily basis, then absolutely go for your own.
Nice. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Kelsi, thank you so much for being with us. It's been a pleasure. But before we say goodbye, can you tell our listeners where they can find you?
I am on Instagram, Kelsi Lewis DDS. I'm also on Facebook. I don't really get on just to look at the groups, but it's basically just Instagram is Kelsi, KELSI Lewis, LEWIS DDS.
Nice. So that's going to be in the show notes below. And Kelsi, thank you so much for being with us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And we'll hear from you soon.
Thank you.